always look on your Facebook, by the way. Hello. Okay. Um, hello, everybody. You all have seen my guests, so you know my guests already. So it's Friday afternoon again, and Mrs. LJT is live with some we're going to be getting some behind the scene life of Mrs. LJT with her dearly beloved son and her dearly beloved husband. So on a serious note, I am very thrilled and very happy today that we have my extraordinary son, Marcous Gongola. He is my stepson, but I've always called him my son, and he always calls me Mama, and he always makes fun of and Boile. I think you are not watching at the moment, but when you get to watch this, don't ever repeat this. But my son always makes fun of how short I am. So that's one joke that he has always made about me from the day he met me until now. And so I have him on here with me. He lives in Dallas. You all got an opportunity to meet his wife before you met him. She came on the Mrs. LJT show and she talked about the program that she's working on for Mind Your Wellness. And she also gave a little spiel of how she managed to deal with her health issues, her mental health wellness. And she gave a shout out to her husband when she talked about, he told her, okay, you need to get up and go and get help, or we are going to have to reconsider our work together. And that strong young man that stood by his wife and got his wife to take care of herself and to enable him to support him. He is right here, live with Mrs. LJT and with his daddy. So he is going to get to talk to us and also to have a conversation with his daddy. I don't know what he's going to say to his daddy, but I know that I told him he has to say something nice about his African stepmother. And and so, in all seriousness and in all honesty, I told him that he just has to share with you all his experience. And having his mom, by the way, is Hispanic, and having to, I don't think it was such a shock because the more I get to know the Hispanic people, the more I realize that they are as strict as the African people. So I don't think it was really a big shock for him to deal with an African mother because probably he had just as much a strict mother or on of his own as much as he did have his strict African mother. So, having said that, I am going to bring Marcous on so he can introduce himself to you. And then, after he introduces himself to you, I will go on and bring his daddy so he can also introduce himself to you. Hey, Marcous.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good, son. How is Dallas?
It's Dallas. It's Dallas. That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
so thank you so much for agreeing to come on to your your stepmom's, Mrs. LJT Conversations That Heal. So you can
See,
have a
I
conversation
I
with.
didn't agree. I just got thrown into it. I just got thrown into it.
Um, okay, slide that off air.
No, but thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you for agreeing to be thrown into it. um, you are just an inspiration, and I am glad that you agreed to come in. So I'm going to give you this moment to just introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know who Marcous is, and you will let your daddy introduce himself. Then we can get started.
Well, as she said, my name is Marcos Gongora. Full name would be Marcos Coy Gongora. I'm a husband,
And you
a
all
father of
know
two.
whose middle name is Coy, right? That's his daddy's middle name.
A father of two, Marcos Jr. and Marcus. We were trying to do the George Foreman little thing going on.
I see that.
Um, right now I'm an inspiring artist, planning on going to school to become a social studies teacher and an art teacher.
Mm, nice. Good aspirations. Okay, do you think your daddy's ready?
Old people in technology, I would give it a few minutes, see if
No,
he's
he
ready.
did not.
I'm ready.
That's your life, by the
I
way.
am ready, 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 ready.
Okay. You will need to bring your screen a little bit down so we can see your whole face. There you
I was,
go.
I was trying to make sure I had a picture of nice African art behind me.
It actually shows very well still.
Okay, okay.
All
Even though
right.
the screen is pretty far back, your head still takes up majority of it, but it's okay.
I was not going to say anything about it, but since your son said it, it's out there.
That head is inherited well.
All right. So, Marcus,
Yes, ma'am.
share with us how it was growing up without daddy in the home, and like how your environment was like, how you coped with everything, and so on and so forth.
Um, it really, I wouldn't say it really didn't affect me about not having a dad in until I got like middle school, almost eighth grade. That's when I really started getting to sports. And what really made me notice it is most of the team, they'll come and they'll play. Their mom and dad will be there. And sometimes it'll just be my mom and that's it. And sometimes I'll see people, they'll come and the dads will come and be like, good game, son. Good job, son. You got to work on this. I had uncles and grandpas that came and told me that, but it wasn't the same as having a dad actually there to help you and help you get better with stuff that they're always there for. I would say a lot of choices in my life would have been avoided if pops was there the whole time. But life isn't always a bag of candy, so you get what you get. But as of now, I can say I have grown a lot since then, and it was a struggle getting there, trying to figure out everything, how to be a man as a kid, trying to grow up, and your mom playing dad's role too, where she can only do so much on that. And grandpas and uncles, they're not there all the time for it. So you either learn it on your own or you learn it from the streets, but you gotta learn it somehow.
Hmm. Hmm. Hold on. Let me bring your daddy in. So, James, you just heard what Mark has said, and how does that make you feel?
Well, as you can know, me and him talked a lot about this, and we have conversations about it. I wish I could have been there with him. I wish that we could have had a true father and son bond from the beginning. You know, because it's hard to build that bond as you get older. But I think me and Marcus came a long way, and I I like I tell him all the time, and is that I think even though his mom and me could not work things out, but she did a great job. He's a great young man. I think also God blessed him with male figures in his life, with his uncle, his grandpa, and all other people in his life that helped him along the way since I wasn't there. But besides that, I really really wish I could have been there with him and walk with him and see him develop as a young man.
So, Marcus, if there is anything that a 10-year-old Marcus would like to say to his daddy, what will that 10-year-old Marcus say to him?
What would 10-year-old Marcus say?
Or the 10-year-old Marcus don't really care? Is the 16-year-old Marcus that cares?
10-year-old would just be like, so you gonna come and see me play or not? That's all I want to know. You gonna come and see me play? 16-year-old, look, hey, it is what it is. I'm just gonna have to do it myself. And if he comes in, he comes in. That was 16-year-old. Now this one, now the current one is, I love Pops. What happened between mom and him, that's them. I don't have nothing to do with that. I just know I love both of them. I wouldn't change neither one of them for anything.
That's very powerful, Marcus. So, Marcus, one of the beautiful things about you that before I even kick it up to that gear, let's bring in having step parents, because I know that one of the things that a lot of kids struggle with is having step parents, and I know that you've had step parents on both sides. Um,
Yes.
how was that experience like?
I would say it's something that you would have to get used to. And I realized now I look back at myself as a kid, I was one of those kids that just easily adapted to changing
Mhm,
situations. So it
mhm.
wasn't that bad for me, but I know some kids just never get along with the step parent when they come in. But I didn't really have that problem.
Yeah, because I remember when you came down here, and I still have that picture, by the way, the picture that we took outside of Aunt Barbara's house. We were going to church, and you and me. And I remember when we went to the restaurant, and you were drinking a drink, and you kept like, I don't know what you were trying to build with straws, but you asked for a lot of straws, and you were just making some structure with the straw instead of drinking your drink. And I was looking at you, and I'm like, gosh, what am I going to do with my stepson if he comes to the restaurant and he starts building towers? But also having step siblings, right? Because I came in with little James, and I don't know if your stepdad on your mom's side have any children or stuff like that, but I came in with little James, and you had to adjust to having a step brother. I have to say, I didn't see you struggle with it. Like, it was almost a natural thing for you. But how did that feel, like having to first you had Dean, who was your dead son, and then you had Lil James, who was totally not even blood related to you, but still your stepbrother because your daddy married his mom. So how did that feel, like just having to deal with other children that
It
us?
was, at first I was I was like, so he gets to spend more time with dad.
Mm.
Um, the younger me just felt like I had to battle, be like, hey, look, I gotta show that I'm the better kid. Then once I
Was that with
started growing a
Dean,
little
or was
bit,
that
I
with
realized
was that feeling with Dean, or was that feeling with little James, or was that feeling with both?
I would say it was with both until I got older and I realized I was like, I don't have I don't have to fight for that. It
Mm.
just comes when it comes.
So it felt kind of like bittersweet, that because I know you used to come and stay with us during the summer, and
Yes, ma'am.
then sometimes but it also intrigued me, something that I wanted to ask you, like you would come and spend summer with me even when daddy was not there, and you never like showed anything, like any struggle of none of my parents are here kind of behavior. And I just wanted to know, like, how did that feel? Like, how did that feel, just spending time with your
It
step?
was it
Mhm.
was it was it was awkward at first, but after a few days, once I warmed up, I was like, oh, okay, this fine. I'm good.
Just tell them that I'm cool.
Uh-uh. I remember my favorite memory that I will never let go, and I know you won't either, is me and Lil James when you was pregnant with Cortez. We ate something, we ate
Hey, hey,
something for
cut.
breakfast and didn't leave you anything. That's when I realized you do not mess with pregnant women and food.
I think everybody wants to know. Now you have made everybody want to know. So, why
Ooh, wee.
share with them the story?
It was, it was. I think it was on a weekend, and we were eating. Me and James woke up. I can't remember what
It
we
was
ate
on
for
a Sunday.
breakfast.
It was a Sunday. We were going to church.
Oh, look, you remember it clear as day. we were eating. We ate something, and we didn't even think to leave the pregnant woman anything.
Milk. It was milk, Marcus.
Cereal. We used up all the cereal, all the milk for that cereal. So she didn't say nothing. She was just. I sensed that she had a little attitude too. So I'm just sitting there. We getting ready. So we stop at IHOP, and then me and Lil James about to get out. She's like, "No, y'all just sit in the car. I'll be back." So 10 minutes passed, 15 minutes passed, and we're like, "What is she doing?" Then she comes out just waddling with big old belly, like, "Yeah, I'm good now." And we're like, "So where's our food?" And then we just slowly back out and go on to church. So we don't get no IHOP, huh? I will never forget that. Never. That's it.
Did that shape how you deal with your mother when she was pregnant?
Oh, I before I eat up anything, I asked her, "Hey, do you want some of this before I eat it?" I learned that one time you do not play with pregnant women and food.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
now to your daddy, baby.
Hey,
What
brother.
do Hey, Nafi.
Hey, nappy.
So when you heard what I did to your son, how did you feel, baby?
I mean, I was fine with it. It was good learning.
So okay, okay, everybody. I have to tell my side of story before you all judge me. So there was a who in the house. Oh my gosh, not going to make me mess up my little bitty makeup. There was a rule in the house. I had told these two boys, If you ever like my favorite meal in the morning when I was pregnant with Cortez was cereal. I'm not a cereal person, but when I was pregnant with Cortez from day one all the way until I gave birth, I ate cereal first thing in the morning. And I told these two clowns, um, so James Tabiso Taylor and Marcus Coy Gongora, I said, children, you are welcome to eat anything and everything. You are welcome to use the milk, but if the milk is about to run out, let me know before it runs out. And they said, okay. Then they let the milk run out, and they had the audacity to get up before me and use up all the milk, and they knew we were going to church. I don't even know if I repented for doing that to them. I left them in that car and went into IHOP, sat down, ate, and came out and took them to church.
Hey, but the main thing is you left the car running while we were in there. So you were good.
I did. I guess I'm trying to figure out. I'm echoing. I don't know whether I'm the one that's making myself echo or what. I think I was, but oh yeah. I mean, I wasn't mad to the point of leaving children in a hot car. But so overall, Marcus, having been raised by your mom with the help of your uncles and your grandparents, what was and what is your relationship with your daddy right now, and how is your relationship with his side of the family?
Our relationship right now
Mhm.
it's like rainbows and unicorns. I love that old man. I love that old man because it was a rough patch getting here. Oh, it was rough. It was rough. I I want to give most of the credit to my wife on pushing me to push and to get that relationship
That's a good wife.
because the 21, 22 year old me was like, it's whatever. But now I done got older. Like when pops had that spider bite, I panicked. I was like, oh Lord, Pop's already got messed up heart. He can't be doing all this, man. Like, don't you worry about your old man. And my relationship with Pop's side of the family, it to me, it's good. I love all of them, especially on Irish. That's the one. That's the one. Auntie Irish. That's the one. I would say out learning from that side of the family, Auntie Irish made me. My mom did a good job on teaching me to respect and be polite, but Aunt Irish, she really instilled that in me.
Hmm.
I and I'm and that's probably the main reason why I say she's the one because she did not play at all. I love that woman. She did not play at all.
Okay, now I need to know more. What did Eilish do that makes you say she did not play at all?
Like she made sure that I understood how to be a gentleman.
Hmm.
Staying with her, we go somewhere. I had to open up her door. I had to close her door. It was no games. And what I think the first time that I stayed with her by myself and she started doing that, we went somewhere and I had got out the car and she just sat there. And I'm just looking at her like, so you gonna get out or what are we doing here? And she just sat there. And then she rolled down her window. She was like, so you gonna come open my door or not? I was like, uh, I guess. And then after that, I realized, oh, okay, so I got open door, closed door. open that door that we're about to go through and hold it for you, and then close it when we're about to come. Okay, I got you.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that she had that kind of impact. And I just had another flashback of our memories together, Marcus, and my Cortez pregnancy. Do you remember when I took you for driving school and I had to pick you up from driving school and they had given you that orange soda and you were drinking it and you looked to really feel so refreshing and my pregnant me just wanted to have a sip. Do you remember that time?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to share that story?
Huh?
Do you want to share that story? Or
You
is
can
it
go ahead and share it because I remember bits and pieces. I don't remember it all.
so I asked you for the soda. I asked you for a sip. And I think you are shocked because I don't think we had ever, like, as stepmom son, we had ever shared food like that, like not even from the same plate. And so I asked you for a sip, and man, I wanted that sip. And you told me you backwash into your drink. You remember?
I remember it.
And I was so mad. And I told you to give me that soda so I can pour it out.
Oh yes, I remember. I came in that car. You were like, "Can I have a sip? Just a little sip." I was like, I had already backwashed, and your face just dropped. Like I was like, "My bad. I had already backwashed. If you want some, no, I'm just gonna pour it out."
I,
I'm like, "No, you can't just pour it out."
and then you told me you were like, I was just joking. Here, take a sip, take a sip. I didn't backwash.
I
and I
didn't want to share.
and I gave you the drink back. I was so happy. I don't know how you felt about me taking a sip from your soda, but one thing I know was I was so happy. It refreshed me and it just hit the spot that that pregnant woman needed, and I was just happy. And I left you alone after that.
Woo.
Now, share with us your experience. What led you to make that decision to become a husband, and how that experience of being a husband and being a father has been for you. And how old were you, Marcus, when you decided to get married?
I was 21.
You were 21. Both of you were 21, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, spill it. Give us the spill.
Okay, so the woman I've been married to for since the dawn of time, it feels like. I've been on her since elementary school, and what I think our senior year, I had finally went back to West, and I didn't realize who it was, but she knew who I was. She, what really took the cake is that I didn't know who she was. It was, I think it was like the first or second week of school. I was getting on the bus to go home, and then out of nowhere, this chocolate girl just runs up to me, grabs my badge, looks at it, then looks at me and just walks off. I'm like, okay, hey, how you doing? We don't get none of those anymore. Okay. So after that, I see her in the hallway all the time, and she just looks and smiles at me. I'm like, okay, I still don't know who you are. Come to find out, I was playing basketball with her brother. And then she told me who she was, and I was like, are you serious? And I want to say maybe a month after that, we started dating. And then it was just rainbows and unicorns. Then sometimes the rainbows and unicorns disappeared. But that's relationships for you. What we live, I moved away for a little bit, and long distance relationship, that's kind of rough. That's rough. I wouldn't advise nobody doing that. That's rough. Um, I lived in Houston for a little bit, and she moved down there, and then she started having health problems, so we had to move back to Dallas,
You
and
remember
she
how
got she
it
got
was
she
that
got a
you
little
moved
bit better.
back, you all moved back to Dallas?
Yep. Then we moved back to Dallas.
And I've been trying to get you all to move back over here.
If there's any young people watching this, one advice that I will give you that I did not learn until I moved back to Dallas is if you get yourself an apartment, do not break no lease, because that does not go nowhere, and it's gonna be hard finding another apartment to get.
Or
I
is
had
that
I
what
had to learn that
happened?
the hard way.
Is that you broke your lease to move back to Dallas?
Yep. I didn't know it was gonna affect me. I was like, okay, whatever. Then I go get an apartment. They're like, "Oh, you have a broken lease." I'm like, who? What's that?" Then they explained it to me. I'm like, well, we gotta get an apartment in her name. So then we just got apartments in her name. I would say a couple months later, she ended up pregnant. I don't know how she got pregnant. Bird just came and dropped the baby to us.
Ooh, Marco.
I don't know how that happened. The baby just came, and before the baby got here, I was like, let's get married. So then we got married. We was broke, but I still
And
loved her.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Marcus. What made you were you planning to marry her before she got pregnant, or was the pregnancy the catalyst of your decision to get married?
I had already asked her. I asked her a long time ago before she got pregnant. And then once she got pregnant, I was like, you know what?
Let's go
Let's
ahead.
just get married. Let's just get married. I was like, what's stopping
Beautiful.
us? Let's just go and get married. And then now got married, two boys. It was, I can say it was rough learning how to be a husband and a father because none of that was really in my life. Like, I got to see grandpa do it, but it wasn't all the time.
I was just about to say you did get to see Grandpa do it, and
Hmm.
met your granddaddy, and he's an awesome man, and I know you had a good model. But to your point, it's not the same
Mama,
when you see your grandpa do it versus if it's your mom and dad and is that unity. It's very different. So I understand what you're saying.
yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's chocolate. Hey, Chucky.
Look, say hey.
Oh, we mad. What did you all do to my baby?
He just woke up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just woke.
Oh.
Yeah, it was hard learning how to be a husband and a father, and we had problems through a couple first years of our marriage because I was I didn't know what I was doing. I was just walking through trying to figure out how to do it, and I would say I started watching her dad. I got little tips and tricks from her dad just watching him, and then she helped me slowly become a better father, giving me advice on what I should do, how I should do it, just little stuff like that to get me to the husband and father
And
I am now.
that's intriguing to me because you and James, I would say, you now have a relationship, but you went through those struggles and you did not reach out to him. So, what stops you from reaching out to James?
I didn't have the relationship with I like I do with pops now until what, like our third year into being married. I think about the third, fourth year into being married. That's when she was like, "You need to get a relationship with your daddy." She was like, "Some people don't even have that chance." She was like, "I understand y'all had y'all's problems here and there, but she was like, your daddy's here. You need to at least give it a chance."
Hmm.
So yeah, I want to say it was
I'm
like
glad
the
to hear
third to
that.
fourth year of us being married. That's when I started talking to pops.
Hmm. So let me bring James in because I have a question for James. So, James, this is your son, your firstborn son, and he is talking about he had to figure out how to be a husband and how to be a dad, and he needed help, but he couldn't reach out to you. How does that make you feel, and like what do you want to say to him about that?
Well, it kind of touched me in a special way because I wanted that relationship with him earlier where he felt comfortable just calling me and talking to me and asking me for my advice or just build a relationship over time. But that didn't happen. Like I said, some things is just life. Sometimes I wish I could have done things different as far as getting into his life and getting to know him sooner than we did get the opportunity to meet and talk and get to know each other. But I can say, listening to him now talk about it, it made me feel kind of like I really missed that. I would have felt real good about being a part of that development as far as him getting to understand how to be a father and a husband. But at the same time, I'm a positive type person. I don't thank God for having somebody that he can kind of look up to, and also somebody give him advice. But I'm happy that me and him reached the point where we have a relationship where we can talk to one another, father and son, and actually respect one another.
Mm.
Yeah, cause pops get a little offensive when I don't call him within that. When I call you every like week or two, and if I
Yeah.
don't call you every week or two, you like, so you're not gonna call me? You don't call me no more? But somebody put somebody on the block list, but we're not gonna talk about.
I was just about to say,
We're not
let's
gonna talk about that.
talk please.
What happened?
About you putting me on the block list? I ain't
Oh
hear
yeah,
about
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Man, you gotta let that ride because that's the technology thing. That's a technology issue I have.
And he did
Hey,
that.
like I
I want,
always say,
I
old
want,
people in technology.
He did that to me, and he claimed like he didn't know he had me on block. Like every time I called him, it went straight to voicemail, and I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, "Why did you block me?" He's like, "I didn't block you. You never called me." And I called him when I was right next to him. It went to voicemail, and I'm like, let's look at it. And he looked at it. Yes, indeed, he had blocked me. So if it helps, you are not the only victim of his blocking tactics.
Hey Marcus, I do want you to share a story. You remember when you came to stay with me that time? I think you was around about when you were 11 or you wanted to go outside. Remember that?
Which
Remember
one?
the time you wanted to go outside? We were standing in the house and you wanted to go outside and it was late
Mm-mm.
It
and
had
you
been younger than that, baby, because when I met,
you might be younger than, but he had came down to visit. We were standing in the house next to the church.
Okay, I remember the house next to the church. Yes.
Yeah, you remember what happened in the front room that evening
Mm-mm.
when you wanted to go outside and it was late. You wanted to play with the boy down the street, and you told me.
Mm-mm.
That's. I think I'm trying to make you remember that because that give us kind of give everybody experience of how we had a kind of like a rift between you and me, but we really didn't understand each other. And I had to tell you because you bucked up to me. You wanted to challenge me that day. You remember that?
Oh, I'm good for that.
Woo,
Hey,
Marcus.
you can you can ask my mama. I'm good for that.
Yeah, you bucked up to me that day, and I told you. I said, Marcus. I told you. I said, hey, if you can take me, and you gonna do whatever you want to do. You remember that?
I remember a little bit of it now that you're explaining it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember bucking up to you. Yeah, I'm
Now
good for
that what made
those.
me know that what made me realize, and I did what I did, but at the same time I realized that you had a lot of heart, and that really touched me because you had a lot of heart. Even though even though you got whooped, but you had a lot of heart though. And to this day, and to this day, I tell myself that made me really realize who you really are. I think over time it's even came out even more to show me how much heart you have. You know, to push through all kind of tough times and hard times, just push through it and get over it, handle your business. So I respect you on that, son, a lot.
Thank
But
you.
you never tried that again, though.
Hey, I can do it now. What? Well, no. Wait, let me change that. After I get my knees fixed, I can do it, and then I'm a win. I ain't worried
But you,
about it
hey,
now.
but you know, I always say the only thing you gotta do is you put the gloves on.
Pops, you too old for that. You too old for
I
that.
was just about to say, James, you're going to get yourself knocked out. Like in 2 minutes, it will be like, Tezzy, come get your daddy off the floor. TKO. But hey, I'm very glad and grateful to see you guys talking and really laughing. And Marcus, you keep bringing up the fact that in the past 3 years, you guys' relationship has become different. Can you share with us, like, what made it become different? Was it just Amalia's encouraging you? Um, and how did you reach out to James, or what happened? Like, I know that you used to invite us to like your stuff and stuff like that, and we will always come and stuff like that. But there was always some kind of, anyway. That's how I felt. I always felt like you were in a situation where you didn't really show much affection towards us. And I always felt like it was kind of like a conflict between, you have your mom's side of the family over here, you have your dad's side of the family over here, and you are torn. Like, and I always told James, I said, it breaks my heart to see Marcus having to have to choose. I just wish um, we could all get to a point where he just loves all of us freely and not have to kind of like choose, where we can all come together. And I am glad, and I've seen that change. Like, you have reached out to me about your dad's health and other stuff that you have done for him in the recent years, like organizing his surprise birthday party and wanting to come and surprise him for Father's Day, even though coronavirus broke out and you couldn't come. So, but what made you reach that point of making a decision to just be and just reach out and just love?
I would say it first started with Amherst making me reach out, and after that, it was still tough, but it was more of a battle for myself on finally realizing, hey, whatever pops and mom had going on, whatever happened between them, I had to finally realize that's not my problem. I shouldn't care about it. Don't care about it. I was like, so I should go and get get to know who pops really is, and not go off of everything I heard from both sides and just be like, you know what? Hey, that's their problem. It's not mine. And I'm gonna get to know my pops just like I know and love my mom. So I wanted to get to know my pops.
Did, because I've had conversations like this with kids, and they some of them will tell me it felt like I was betraying my mom. Did you feel like you were betraying your mom, or was it just like how did that, when you arrived at that particular decision, how did that feel for you?
It did feel like that. It did feel I was I was betraying her and going behind her back on it. But then I had to finally realize at the end of the day, whatever happened between them, that's their problem to solve and to get that to figure out what it is.
And your mom just commented, she says actually he never had to choose, he just did not know you all personally. Is that something that you, a statement that you relate to? And
Yeah,
you
I can agree to what she said. I I knew you and Pops
Mhm, mhm,
just from the little bit of times that I did get to spend with y'all.
mhm,
But it wasn't it wasn't on the personal level to a point where I call y'all if I need something, if I need to talk to somebody. It wasn't on that type of level yet until
mhm,
until recently when what 3 years ago, about three four
mhm.
years ago when we actually first started talking. That's when it started getting personal. I was like, okay, and that's when I can say I finally grew up and realized, hey, it it's their problem, not mine. So I need to see who this guy really is.
Mm. And I am really glad that you reached that point, Marcus. And I'm just like glad that you are having that relationship. And so when you finally made that decision to reach out and decide to know who this guy is, what was that experience like for you? Like, what was the reception that you got from him?
That Pops is actually a really really good guy, really good dad, very smart. I love asking Pops questions about how I should do this or what should I do with this or how I should do this. And he's very open on talking about what happened in the past. But we had one conversation. I asked him a few questions. After that, I told him I was like, I really don't want to talk about it no more, and I can care less what happened because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it's their problem.
Yeah. Yep. And that's how I also see it, have always seen it. And I'm just glad that you grew to the point that you also see it like that. And I really honestly thank God for Amelia's. I I always tell James, I said, the reason why I can be wrong, I might be wrong, but I am almost convinced that the reason why Marcus is reaching out to us is because of Amelia's. And
Oh yeah, she was the one who started it. I give it all to her. She made me do
she did well. That
it.
woman God that he gave to me, she's the one who made me eat the fruit. Well, I am very, very grateful that she's a wise young lady and that she steered you towards having a relationship with your dad. And I also applaud you in that not very it's very few people that would listen to their wives in that way and actually do what is beneficial for everyone. Now,
At first, I wasn't listening to her whatsoever about that at all.
mm,
We have we argued for like months about it. I remember those arguments clear as day.
I know that Chocolate is over there. Can you tell Chocolate to come on camera because I want to ask her a question?
Come on, chockity chock chock.
Hey y'all.
Hey, Mrs. Gongola,
Hi.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what made you persist and insist on Marcus having a relationship with his dad?
Marcus was
Charge it.
struggling really, really bad. We, of course, everybody know we got married real, real young. We had
Mhm.
kids really, really young. And
Remind me again. Tell me about it. You
it
are
was
you
hard headed.
all
Let's be
know.
real.
Okay, let me get this straight. Because this is conversations that heal, right? You all know that I loved you all as a couple, but you all know your stepmom was not ready for marriage. I wanted you all to finish college. Like that was my map for you. I saw Amalia's working and getting her gynecologist degree, and I saw Marcus getting his teaching degree, and then I saw you all get married and then start a family. And then you all turned my plans upside down. But no, you can ask Marcus. Like me and his daddy literally used to drive him around in Katy and show him these nice big houses and explain to him why it's important for him to finish college first before he gets married because we want him to have that for his family. And Marcus just turned my dreams around. But I have to say,
See, and that's one thing that I have learned about having a stepmom that is originally from Africa. Once y'all set goals, do not change them because they will get mad. They do not blink. Once they say, hey, look, this is what you're gonna do, and this is what I want you to do. You better do it, because if you don't do it, oh, they're gonna be mad. They're gonna be mad, mad.
yeah, I was mad for a minute, but one thing that really calmed me down and made me happy is it turned out that Amaras, and you all know that our nonprofit organization is I Am Your Ruth. And I'm so big into marriage and not just the relationship between men and woman as husband, but also the relationship with the family. Because Ruth is the real personification of unwavering love of your spouse's family. And so when I found out the caliber of a young lady that Marius was, how much she cared about family, which can also be one of the reasons why sometimes it becomes bittersweet because just as Marcus moved to Houston and we were excited and everything, this girl just took him back to Dallas because she wanted to be next to her mom and dad. And I respect that. I love it. I mean, I love it. It made me mad at the time, but still I love it. But but Amelis is just like she made me realize that it's okay for you guys to start upside down instead of the normal dream way that I had, and starting upside down. And I'm so grateful that Amaras is that family orientated, and I'm grateful for what her mom and dad instilled in her, because that's what translated in you, Marcus, having a good relationship with your dad. And so anyway, back to the question, like Amaras, what made you what made you feel that it was important for Marcus to have a relationship with his dad?
What was happening? Like you said, we was having a hard time because he wasn't doing, he wasn't taking a good envisionment of what a husband was. He wasn't taking a good envisionment of what a father was, and it was causing a strain on us a lot. And I would tell him, like, you know what, go talk to my daddy. I thought my daddy was an amazing, father figure and husband figure, and he just kept saying he didn't feel that connection with him. And I'm like, okay, cool. I said, well, go talk to your daddy. I said, your daddy's successful. Your daddy is doing well. He's married. He's prospering, things like that. I said, go to your daddy. And he was like, he didn't feel comfortable doing that because, how, I mean, let's be real. You know how when you're staying with your mother, sometimes she'll tell you things about your daddy and you're just feeding off of what she's telling you. And I was like, you have to realize there's two sides to the story. There's always two sides. I say, though your mother told you this, go at least go see what your daddy's side of the story was. I say, I'm not saying your mama is,
You all see how wise she is? Oh my God. Like, this is a blessing. Like, this is the kind, I tell you all, this is the kind of women that you should pray for your sons to meet. Anyway, go ahead.
I was like, I'm not saying she's wrong, but your daddy has a side too. I say, go check and see what happened from his perspective. I say it might not be as accurate as your mother had said it. I say you missed out on all of this because you was only feeding off of what your mama had said. I say go talk to him. Things can be different. And eventually, it started off just a couple conversations here and there, and then he didn't want to hear his side for a while. And eventually, when he heard it, he came back and he told me. And I was like, this relationship could have been grown a long time ago. But you just want to stick to that one side. You have to, give him his opportunity to speak. Give him his opportunity to tell what happened from his perspective, because it could have been something different. And eventually he started talking and things started getting better between us and whatnot. And then his relationship with his daddy started to grow.
I just love it. I'm going to bring James online. So, like, James, you listen to Amelia's. Like, what's your thoughts? What's your feeling about what Amelia's just said?
Well, I agree with her. I love my daughter. I never had a daughter, so she's my daughter. She is my daughter, and she is a wise daughter. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's tough when you just see one side, you don't see both sides of a story. But like I said earlier, overall, even though I wish I could have been there with Marcus the whole time to walk with him and see him develop and help him where he needed help at and give him guidance and stuff, it didn't work out that way. But I really, in my heart, I feel like God took care of Marcus with his grandfather's uncles, and his mom did an outstanding job. So with that said, now, and I thank God for blessing Amaris to come in and push Marcus towards me, and I'm happy we had a chance to really develop a relationship with each other. I think the hardest thing is just accepting the fact that you can never get those years back that you missed. That's the hardest thing to accept. But you have to accept it, and you have to move on. You have to move forward from where you at. So me and Marcus, where me and Marcus met each other, that's where we moved from, and we overcame a lot of hardship trying to break through barriers and build a relationship with one another. I think we got a relationship that's continuously growing and maturing. So I love both of them, and I thank God for bringing Amaris into his life, and then from that part, bring her into our life.
Yeah. And I just want to say, guys, I don't want you, I don't want anybody to get it twisted. Like when Amala says that there's always two sides to any story. I've been a single mom. Before I met James, I had Lil James, or most of you from Botswana will know him as Tadiso. And I know the struggle of trying to get somebody that is not in a relationship with you as the mother to be part of the child. And I know how sometimes even when you try to, it's like, let me just say this. If somebody is not staying in the home with the child and they are supposed to come pick up the child, and for some reason they cannot make it, it's annoying. And if you are a single mom, it will annoy the living lights out of you. If you are in a marriage and your spouse is supposed to take the child to Chuck E. Cheese or to some birthday party or anything like that, and they get stuck at work, you understand. You are like, oh, daddy's stuck at work, so I'll take you. But if it's a situation of somebody, it's a daddy that's not married to you and they cannot come, that's going to annoy you to the nth degree. It becomes different situation. And when you tell the kids that story, it's it's going to be not what is Marcus used, like rainbows and what is that, Marcus, you say rainbows?
Rainbows and unicorns.
It's not going to be a story of rainbows and unicorns. It's going to be a story of, oh, that man that used to say he will come for your birthday and he never showed up. So it's like, I don't care about what his story for not showing up is, because he's not showing up doesn't benefit me or doesn't benefit the child. And for as much as I know, he might not have showed up because the other woman was pulling him away. And in my heart, as the mother of his child, I don't perceive it as becoming for him to choose to go on a date versus take a child. Whereas if it was in a marriage situation, we could all go out as a family unit. And it becomes a very difficult situation. And honestly, I think that is why God had made it such that a woman and a man should be together as a family unit when they have a child. And unfortunately, we don't always do it like that. So when we say, when Amara says there is always another story, every story have its has two sides. That's exactly what she means. Like, okay, James has his reasons why he missed those important dates with Marcus, or he has a reason that something that happened that Marcus' mom might have perceived it as C when it was D on James' side. And that's where the coin, flipping the coin and really seeing the head and the tail and understanding how they come together to build the story of your life is very important. And I'm still like very much happy that Amara's, and maybe that is why God turned that story upside down instead of the way I had thought was going to be the perfect way for them. Because imagine if Marcus had waited until he graduated, which was going to be probably when he was like 24, and then Amelia's would probably have graduated when she was 26, because going for medical school and then specializing as a gynecologist, which is what she wanted, would have taken
She's still there.
It's like a long time.
like probably 8 to 10 years, right?
But yeah.
So you guys would still not be married by now, and so we will still be struggling with our relationship with Marcus. Jesus have mercy. I'm so grateful that our ways are not God's ways, and that His way is different from our ways. And even our timing, the way we think things needs to work out, and you know, are so different from God's ways and God's plans. And so we
I do want to say this right here is
Mhm.
that, and I think this is one of the most important things is that I do want to say if any fathers are listening, you should never let anything stop you from being involved in your kid's life because you can't get those years back. No matter what relationship you have with the mother of that child, that is still your son or daughter. You should make every effort to make sure you're there in their lives because you can't go back and get those years back at all. So with that said, I tell Mark, no, I told him
Are
this
you
1,000
hitting
times
your
all the
cup on the table?
time. Huh?
Are you hitting your cup on the table?
Actually, I'm hitting the Gatorade bottle on the table.
I was waiting
Man,
for it.
you are really making your point. Like, fathers, make sure nothing stops you from being there.
Yeah, nobody should stop you from seeing your child. Nobody. But I do want to end with this last thing is that I know, and I told Marcus over and over again. I don't know if he ever shared it with Amaris, but I told him, Marcus, don't you let nobody stop you from being a part of your family's life. Don't let nobody come between you and your sons and your wife.
Maybe
Never.
stop with the Gatorade bottle. Like, we get your point.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure it's getting across to
Hey,
everybody.
he's trying to make his point, okay?
Yes, thank you, Marcus. Thank you so much. So it's that's very important to me, and I think I have opportunity to really push that across to him. I really mean that. Nobody should come between your wife and you and your kids' relationship. Nobody. I don't care who they are.
Yeah,
Nobody. Anyway,
I told her that before, and she already knew I was that type of person.
yeah.
Very
Still rolling the eyes.
James has made his point, and we are after 7. But Marcus, before we go, you recently, just out of nowhere, became an artist.
I have always been an artist.
I know that when I met you,
not to.
I know that when I met you, you were trying to become an architect, like putting structures with the stores. And I looked at you and I concluded that your career was going to be an architect. But now,
You see how she just throws that shit.
so how did that happen? How did that happen?
What the art? How I got into the art? Got back into art?
Mm-hmm.
What were we doing that I just decided to get back into art?
I have no idea. I don't know.
We were I want to say it was before we had moved back into before we were in an apartment in Mesquite before we had moved, and we were just having a family night, and we just got some paint and just decided to paint that night. And
Oh yeah.
and then just out of the blue, I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go get a sketchbook. I feel like drawing. And then it just started coming more and more, and next thing I know, I'm sitting over here painting canvases and making beautiful art,
And then
making unicorns and rainbows.
And then you tried to draw your stepmom. Let's talk about that.
Oh, that was all you. I was like, let me put her right there. Pow. Yeah, that's it.
Marcus, the only thing that resembled me on that painting was the flag of Botswana. And
see, at first, I started.
I'm so proud of that painting. I'm so proud of that painting, even though it made me look so ugly, like the original woman. I am going to take that painting and I'm going to frame it and I'm going to put it up in the house. And I also recently bought another piece from you just to encourage your business because I'm so proud of everything that you're doing. And I will encourage all my friends to go on Instagram and search for Gongora the artist. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Gongola the artist, and follow him because he continues to put up some real great artwork, and purchase some, just purchase some even if it's just for the mere fact that he's just the stepson of the extraordinary Mrs. LJT,
I about to play with her. I know it was coming. Yeah, but the painting that I made.
I had to throw that one in there for him to laugh. But anyway, yes, encourage my son. Follow him on Instagram. Purchase his art. If you can purchase his art, share his art, and let his name get out there. He's a self-made artist, and he continues to strive. It's amazing the talents that God has deposited in us. And I always believe that there is the right time that God just decides to illuminate a given talent in us. And it's up to us to follow through and show what God has deposited in us. And that's exactly what Marcus is doing. So share, buy, and encourage him. And we've come to the end of today's show. You've had a spiel from Marcus and his daddy. And I want to thank the both of them for putting themselves out there, and who taught my husband how to go into Instagram and Google how to share. He just said in the Marcus's Instagram. Okay. Oh gosh. Anyway, Marcus, any departing thoughts and words that you want to share with everybody?
Yes. First off, the painting, I did not use you to make it.
About to say so.
I did not. No, you threw me under the bus. I did not use you to make it. I had just got a random picture of a person, and then I was like, you know what? Because I think you had asked for something. You had asked for a painting, and I was like, you know what? I'm almost done with her. I was like, you know what? Let me just throw the flag on the back, and she can have this one. But yes, I did not use you as the painting, okay?
Okay, Marcus, I will
Throwing
take.
me under the bus like that.
I will take that, but it's. I mean, the thoughtfulness of it, and like I tell you, honestly, the flag that was so thoughtful that did it to me. I was like, oh my goodness, just the thought of the flag. Yeah, you can do no wrong in my books now.
Yes, and on my Instagram page, I do commissions too. If it's like a portrait or something, I'm not all the way there with it yet. I'll let you know and be like, that's not 100% that I can guarantee that it's gonna look like what you want it to look like.
Okay, so if I wanted a cartoon appearance of myself, you can do that.
Yes, I can. I can give you an animated cartoon character if that's what you want.
There we go. Okay, James, anything else, Marcus, that you want to throw in there except pull yourself from under the bus?
Oh, shots fired. See, my
Pow,
ship
pow,
is too
pow.
look, my ship is too high, so you can't even see me. So it's cool. It's cool. But no, I just really enjoyed this, and I am really happy that I got to get this relationship with Pops the way it is. Because you can ask Pops, I call him on a random day and just be like, hey Pops, let's talk about some investing or something. How you doing?
I love it.
I love talking to Pops about investing.
I love it. I love it. To God be the glory.
Well, yeah, the only thing I have to say is that I'm just so thankful that this gap in my life that I wanted to fill, especially with my son relationship, me and his relationship, we get opportunity to build a relationship with, and it really means a lot to me to have a relationship with my son, and so I thank God for it. I thank God for marriage. I thank God for him. I thank God for his, where his mama got him to at this point in his life. I'm thankful for his grandpa, his uncles, and everybody that God blessed to be in his life. So I'm just, I'm at peace. I'm happy that he's a young man that he is, and may God bless us to keep on just growing in a stronger and stronger relationship with one another.
Thank you, James. Thank you so much, James and Marcus. And we continue to hope that the conversations that we are having here will touch somebody, help somebody, and encourage somebody, and change things for the better for somebody. And I'm just grateful, and thank you everybody for coming on. And I'm trying to see, I don't think I had any questions. I'm trying to see if there were any questions that were asked for the two of you, but I don't see any questions. So I think we are good to go. Let me check one last time. Make sure I'm not neglecting any question. No, I don't see any questions. So if they pop up, then it'll be too late. But thank you, everybody, and have a blessed Friday and a blessed weekend. We will talk again next week, Friday. Actually, no. This coming Monday, we have a Shark Tank presentation from the Beyond Education Finance Elite class. We have 6 young men. They have been divided into two groups of 3 business partners. They have worked on their business plan and they have worked on their business pitch. We are going to bring in 2 very independent judges, and they are going to present in a Shark Tank fashion on the Mrs. LJT. And tune in. These are 10-year-olds that have come up with business names. They have come up with business plans and business pitches, and they're going to be presenting those on Monday at 6 p.m. So tune in and see how it's done. And we will be having another class starting up. So this is an opportunity for those of you that have 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds. This is an opportunity for you to tune in, see if this class could benefit your child. So thank you, everybody, and see you all hopefully on Monday. Until then, God bless, God protect you all. And for those that are in the same situation as James and Marcus, may God bring you your Amalias, who will bring you together. And if there's no Amalias, may the Spirit of the Lord guide you to help you restore your relationship. Thank you. Bye-bye. Now, my mouse is stuck somewhere and I'm trying to end the broadcast. Anyway, I found my mouse. Thank